Hey, I'm Brendan. So I run a sales automation agency called Nimflow, and I'm starting to do this kind of videos mostly just to keep myself accountable and of course to build my personal brand. And I'm trying to help founders, operators, and professionals, to help them use AI and automation in their own companies, and hopefully they can get some value from this. So if that's you, yeah, go continue watching. And then in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to actually scrape a bunch of leads from a platform called Apollo, and then we're going to use that information to try and create icebreakers, personalized icebreakers using the data that we can get from Apollo and also elsewhere. And then we're going to glue everything together with a platform called Make.com. So Make.com is just a no-code automation tool that allows you to piece together a bunch of different software tools together and make them flow continuously. All right, so we're going to get started. Let's get going. All right, so first off, Apollo, we're going to need a lead database. So Apollo is a lead database. They are a B2B platform, and I think they have almost about 300 million over leads on this platform. So quite a significant number of leads. The first thing that you want to do, go to apollo.io, create a free account. You don't need a paid plan. And then we're going to go over to the People's tab here. First thing you need to do is adjust some of these filters. Okay, it's the first thing. We're going to do the email status, verified. Make sure to click this, verified. So although this is not 100% going to get you verified emails, but we're going to do another additional layer of verification later on. But this is actually just the first pass. Then we can select job titles. So in this case, let's say you want to target founders. Okay, so founders of CEOs or whoever. You can continue to add more job titles if you want, and you can also tick this to include people with similar titles. So most of the time, you click founders, you'll select everyone that's kind of related to a founder. But for me, I like to just manually add those in just in case. You might catch other titles that this may not catch. So you can also exclude titles. Past job titles, I don't really touch that. Management level, here you can select specifically the management level, or you can even select the job functions and departments. I don't touch company lookalikes. Over here we can go to location. So under location, this is where you can select the location of the person or the location of the company. So let's say I'm going for United States. We'll just put that in. And next one, we can select also the employees. How many employees are there in this particular company? So from all of these. So let's say if I'm targeting founders, I don't think if I click this, I'm probably going to get Apple or Tesla, but I'm not going to be, Elon Musk and Tim Cook is not going to be seeing my emails. Okay, so to be a little bit more realistic, you might probably want to target this particular range between the 1 to 50 if you're targeting founders. And if you're trying to target heads, or if you have our agency and you're trying to target directors, CEOs, or whoever, then maybe you can target a little bit bigger. All right. Then from there, we can also target industry and keywords. So industries, you can type specifically what industries you want. So maybe we're going for computer software in this particular case. And you can also include company-specific keywords. So under computer software, maybe you want to put in AI. So these are all the companies that has AI in their keywords. So you can see about 3,300 leads here. So assuming this is the lead list that you want. So right now you can technically export this, but you do need a paid subscription. I think you can do it for the free one also as well, but there are many limitations. So what I usually do is go over to this, copy the URL of Apollo, and we're going to go over and use a different tool. So this tool is called Apify. Apify is just a collection of web scrapers created by other people. So that third party or indie developers, people not like me. So I don't create scripts. I just use scripts created by people. So what you want to do is go over. We're going to try to find this particular scraper right here. And to find it, you just go over, you create an account on Apify. Just a free account would do. But if you want to scrape, later I'll go on to explain. If you do want to scrape quite a significant number of leads, you do need the paid plan. Okay, so we go over to the Apify store. Over here, type Apollo. And it should be the first one right here, created by Code Pioneer. So this is the one that allows you to scrape 1,000 leads for $1.20. Head over to input. And then you just paste the URL here. And then over here is the total number of records required. This is the number of records you want to scrape. So in Apollo, it says 3,300, right? So you want to put 3,300 here. Okay, and then you can name it whatever you want. So what was it? Totally forgot. Founders of computer software. Founders of computer software companies in US. So you can name it whatever you want. If you don't name it, it's just going to give it a generic Apollo with a bunch of prefixes and stuff. Then over here, this clean output. So this clean output, whether you want to tick it or not, that I'll leave that up to you. When it's not ticked, it's going to give you a bunch of different columns and headers that have a ton of information that you may or may not need. So most of the time, I find myself not using all those additional columns and information. So I tend to click the clean output, which would give me just the stuff that I want. Just the stuff that is useful that I'm going to be using for the personalization. Next, we have the run options. So on the run options, you can leave the build empty. Timeout. So for timeout, usually if you have a very small list, you cannot click timeout because it's never going to reach that limit where it will actually stop the actor. So when timeout, it just means like stop this whole run. So, but right now, if you have like 3,300 leads, you do want to click timeout because it might, although it can result in infinite runs, but usually when you put these restrictions here, it should be fine. So yeah, if you're scripting a very little leads, maybe 50 to under 100 leads, you don't have to put it. But if you're scripting anything more than that, you might want to check this. So for the memory, you can just leave it as it is. And this is maximum charge results. This should be the same as this. So you just put 3,300. Although it's 3,300. Oh yeah, okay. So apparently I don't have enough credits. So yeah, this was what I'm going to do. I wasn't even going to be scraping 3,300 leads anyway. It's just an example to show you. But just ensure these two are the same. So let's say it was 5 and 5. Yeah, and then don't click this no maximum limit because this might really cause infinite runs and this will blow your usage up, your credits up. So these are the stuff that the settings that you actually need to set before you can scrape all these leads from Apollo. But I'm not going to scrape it because I've already done I have pre-scraped just a sample list for you. But I do want to bring attention to some things that you might be facing when using this scraper because it's not always it's created by someone else and it's not perfect. Okay, so we go over to the issues tab here. We can see sometimes there's failed to stop. You've reached your Apify maximum charge limit of 10. So usually on the trial plan of Apify, you can scrape like 5 to 10 because I've done that. But sometimes I guess when maybe Apollo changes something in their API documentation or I know they've made it more difficult for scrapers to actually scrape information from them because if you were Apollo, you would probably do something like that as well, right? You don't want people to be charging this amount when they can be buying a subscription. So yeah, so these are some of the issues that you might face. Sometimes you'll be failed to extract data from Apollo. So all this kind of stuff usually happens when you don't have a paid plan. So you see the scraper is currently down for trial users. This usually doesn't happen for me when I have a trial plan. But if you want greater uptime or if you want to be able to scrape more leads, you need to upgrade to a paid Apify plan. So it's not that expensive. Okay, I think it's about like $30 plus, $39 per month. You can subscribe and then you can just delete it immediately. You can subscribe and cancel immediately if you only want it for that particular month. And then you can use all the credits that you need. Okay, so I've gone over some of the issues and stuff. So if you have anything, you can just create a new issue and ask Code Pioneer, and then he will reply. Okay, so shouldn't be an issue. So under the input, right now, if you have all of this, all you need to do technically is just click save and start. So once you click save and start, it's going to fail for me because as I mentioned, I'm not on a paid plan right now, but I'm just going to show you the flow. So it's going to start this, it's going to be logging all of this, and then it's going to complete the run. Once the run is completed, it's going to say succeeded. And then, as you can see, it failed for me. But on a successful run, once the run is finished, you can just go back here, you click the runs tab, you should see your run come up here. So it will be here. So for me, this one, it was a failure. So I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so assuming you got a successful run like this. So once you click into the run, this is going to show you all the data. So assuming that we will scrape 5. So here it will show you 5. So this is all the information that you can get from Apollo, which is technically what we got here through the filters. All right. So once you're here, you can click export the results, export it as CSV, and then advanced options. Here, you can just click clean items. But in this case, let's say we're going to use this particular list, and I'm just going to use this as an example to show you the next step. So I'm just going to limit this to like say 10. Okay, download. Just to show you the flow. So yeah, let's go. So now as you can see on my downloads folder, you can see it appears here, right? This is the downloaded CSV file with that information. So the next step, technically, what you can do now is, because you already have the emails, you can just start personalizing if you want with all this information manually. But what we're going to do next is actually use a tool called Email List Verify, because remember, as I mentioned at the start, even if Apollo puts even if Apollo puts the verified tag on those emails, doesn't make it safe. So we're going to run it through a second pass and make sure the emails are as safe as it can be. So, but of course, it's not going to be 100% again. So I'm going to be using this tool called Email List Verify. It's just an email list verification tool to make sure the emails are safe to send. So what we're going to do is click Verify List, Browse Files, and again, we're going to select this. Okay. This is just an example because I already mentioned just now, I've already pre-scraped a bunch of data to show you. Just to show you the step. Right now, you can see it's already uploaded. You click Process Now, and then you can just select this, verify the uploaded files, and then it's going to start verifying. So once it's verified, you should see it finish like this. Yeah, all these are all verified already. So if I click like Download, you should show you how many emails are safe to send. So imagine you had a list of like 100 and then it only showed you 12 emails are safe to send. So always just go with this and then click download the CSV file. So once you click download, you should get a new clean list, which we are then now going to put on a Google Sheet. So just want to say like upfront, quite a few of these processes here are manual because I want to show people that, you know, if you want to fully automate this whole entire work process, this would be a completely different video. But this is trying to be targeting the middle ground where you kind of want to pay for the basic tools and you kind of don't want to pay for more of the convenience tools. So I'm going to show this is that video. More or less, it's going to be a semi-automated video. Okay. So right now over here, this is the particular list. You want to go to Google Sheets, create just a new sheet, and then name it whatever you want. So the industry and then raw data. That's just my naming convention. So I previously scraped a bunch of data from the financial services industry for the USA. I think I was targeting founders. Yeah, I was targeting founders for this particular list. So let's just work off this particular this list. So once you like imported the clean and validated sheets, remember from where is this? Email List Verify. Once you have downloaded this, you go over to Google Sheets, you go over here, you click File, you click Import, Upload, and you can browse, select the clean sheet. I'm not going to do it because, okay, I'll just show it you, but I'm not going to actually import it. Show you what you're supposed to do. Import it, and then you just click Append to Current Sheet and Import Data, and then all the data should appear like that. Okay, so you can see it's like a ton of different columns. Even though this is the clean output, don't forget. See, as you can see, this is a ton of columns. So most importantly, of course, V1 is the email addresses, which were technically already verified. And secondly, we want the LinkedIn URLs because we're going to need to scrape the LinkedIn profiles, which I'll get to that later. And also the organization LinkedIn because we need the company description. So we're also going to use another tool later for these two particular columns to get the information. So right now, what I want you to do is actually create a different sheet, but I want you to call this the main list because this main list is technically going to be the clean list where we're going to refer it in make.com and do all the automations. Okay, so you can see this is a little bit manual right now because we are not doing a fully automated system, but this is the workflow that I like to do, kind of like to do manually just to make it fast, I guess. not as fast as automating. Okay, so let's go over here. So now once you have the raw data, we're going to create a main list, as I mentioned. So you can just name it the industry that you scraped and then main list. And you're going to insert all these different columns. So these are just the basic columns that I use for personalization. You can add more if you want, but this is what we're going to be working with. So all you need to do now on this step is very simple. You go over to the raw data, the one that we just imported, and you just copy paste everything. Okay, so we're going to find like the first name. First name Sinclair, all this. It's a little bit, this part is a little bit manual, but just deal with it, okay? Eventually, once in another video, I'm gonna do this all automatically, but this is, of course, this I just mentioned is the middle ground. So just one middle ground, I mean semi-automated workflow. Okay, emails, person's country, United States. Here, LinkedIn URL. Okay. Shit, there's a fly in the house. Damn it. Okay, person's LinkedIn URL, person's LinkedIn title. This is technically the headline. Let's put it there. All right. So in Google Sheets, when the text is too long for the column, all you need to do is just select the particular column that you want, click this text wrapping, and click clip. So it should do that. Or you can just control or command A on the Google Sheets if you're using Mac or Windows, and then you do the same thing, and it applies it for every single one. So that's what you're going to do. Okay, so for the person's LinkedIn summary, as mentioned, this is going to be empty because we don't have the information yet. Company name. On the raw sheet is going to be organization name. I think /name. Yep, /name. So here, and then we go back, we need the company LinkedIn, which is the company LinkedIn here. And then the company website. Where is it? Website. Yep, website. Company description, empty, we don't have it yet. It's not clipped again, so we're going to clip it. All right, one moment, I want to check that I'm still recording. Yes, I am, thank God. I almost thought I was doing this for nothing. Okay, oh, we left full name. Full name. I think it's just called name. Damn it, where is it? So the data is kind of dirty, so we're going to need to find it. Should be here somewhere. Sinclair, right here, name. Got it. Right, so right now you can see we have a pretty clean sheet to work off, a main list to work off from, but all we need now is to get the information, the summary of the person and the company description. So ideally, if you were going to fully automate this, you're going to need a tool like Lead Magic or a tool like Phantom Buster. Then you can access their APIs. So APIs are just ways two different software tools can communicate with each other. So to fully automate this whole process, you're going to need to access the APIs within make.com, which is our no-code automation tool, which I'll explain later. But this video is not going to cover this because it's a little bit more complicated and it's a little bit more for an advanced automation, personalization kind of video. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is going to be more like a semi-automated kind of video. All right, so the alternative that is also kind of cost efficient, but it's a little bit more manual work, as I said, is to go back to Apify, go to Actors, and you want to use these two particular scrapers. So these two are also created by another person, by this person called DevFusion. So as mentioned before, to find a specific actor or /scraper, just the same thing, go over to the Apify store and just type these two in. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to be scraping the person's LinkedIn profile. So right here, this is the one that we're going to use. Make sure it says no cookies. Then we're just going to like bulk edit, delete all these first, just to show you. Gonna go over back here. So in our main list, right now, you can see these are the person's LinkedIn URLs, right? All you need to do is just copy it. So whether you have 5 or you have like 500, it's the same thing. Copy everything, click on the bulk edit, under input, manual, bulk edit, just paste everything, set it, click run options, leave this untouched, timeout also, for the sake of convenience, just always put no timeout, memory also 512, maximum charge results, same as the number here, 5. And then you start scraping. I'm not going to do it as mentioned before because I pre-scraped this. Just want to show you what's it going to look like. Then once the scraping has been done, like before, everything's the same, you will see something like that. Like an actor has successfully, my English, an actor succeeded with 10 results in the data set, just to show you it's been done. So you go inside here again, output, you click export results, click CSV, you can click clean items, you can also select the fields that you want, but leave this untouched if this is your first time. You just get everything and then click download. So once you click download, again, it will be downloaded to your computer. Then we're going to create a new sheet. So just now, remember, right now you should have the raw data sheet. You should have the main list. Now we want to create a person LinkedIn data. And the same thing applies. Go in here, just click file, import, do the whole same process again as I did just now for the raw data. And you should get this data right here. So this is all the information, all the scrape information on each of these 5 people's LinkedIn pages. So as you can see, we get the about page. We get the about section here. Not all of them, right? Because if you, as you know, not everyone takes the time to actually write out their LinkedIn. So this, apparently this Alexandra didn't bother to write anything, so that's why it's empty. But for the 4 of them, there is. So thank God. And you get a whole bunch of other data also as well, like tons of them. So one thing that I forgot to mention also, when you first import this file, you're not going to find like the about and the LinkedIn URL nicely in column A and B here. Wait, what is this? Hide, unhide. Sorry, yeah, see, okay, this is I hid it. You're not going to find it naturally in column A and B. You're going to need to find it. Wait, if I'm not mistaken, this about thing should be in A, but we want to find the person's LinkedIn URL. So the person's LinkedIn URL is all the way on column CX. So just drag it all the way to B. Okay, I'll explain later why. Next, we do the same thing. Go back to main list, cancel, copy this, all the company LinkedIn URL, go back to Apify, go back to actors, all actors, find this one now, bulk LinkedIn company profile scraper, no cookies. Just go over to Apify store and click it. It's created by DevFusion with this fire emoji. Click on it, bulk edit, remove all this, put in the 5 companies here, and do the exact same thing as what you did for the individual person. Then once the run is completed, yeah, you do the exact same thing. You get a file, then you create a new sheet, but this time name it the industry and then company LinkedIn data. So once you go inside here, you import everything. It should come inside here again as well. The same thing. Also, the description. So now you can see we have the descriptions for each of these particular companies, but not sure this one. Yeah, okay. You have the 5 descriptions for all these 5 companies, but as usual, this description column and the URL column will not nicely be in column A and B. So you're going to need to find it. So just take note, it'll be description and then URL. Go find it, drag the description to A, drag the LinkedIn URL, the LinkedIn company URL to B. Now I'm going to explain why. So once you have these 2 new sheets, one with the person's LinkedIn data and one with the company LinkedIn data, you go back to the main list. And we're going to be mapping the information, okay? So technically, I could have done that just now, but, because it was very easy. This one is a little bit more complicated just because, the columns are all over the place. So now we're going to need to map this particular LinkedIn summary to this one here, the person's LinkedIn data. So we need to find a way. So how are we going to do this? We're going to need to find a common key in both sheets that exists on both sheets so that we can refer to it and pull the data from the second sheet based on the key in the first sheet. Sounds confusing because I probably also confused myself. But in essence, basically, you want to find something like this LinkedIn URL that exists on both sheets, so it's easy so you can refer. So in this case, for the person's LinkedIn summary, I want to use the person's LinkedIn URL. Okay, so how are we going to do it? You might think, okay, if you're familiar with Google Sheets, you might think you can do a simple VLOOKUP and then do it. But I ran into some issues because apparently when you import the data from Apify into Google Sheets, sometimes the LinkedIn URL is not clean. So then there might be some trailing spaces or empty spaces that will be recognized as a character, as an empty space inside here. So the formula won't pick it up and you can't just do a simple VLOOKUP. So of course, I did engage the help of ChatGPT. Where is it? Under link, put it under my templates, and I got this. After much prompting, I got this formula. All right. So we're going to go back. So we're going to first paste it here. So in essence, what this does, this trim, it just removes the trading spaces on both sides of the LinkedIn URL, and then this index is to actually refer to the second sheet, that means the person's LinkedIn data sheet, and it's going to pull out everything in column A. That's all. Column A is everything. So you can see Sinclair Tofa is the name right there. And then the regex replace is just it's also a bit confusing. Just literally just to make the LinkedIn URLs on both sheets standardized the same, so that you can refer exactly to what it is and map nicely. Okay. So the index, for the first part, the index part, you want to refer to column A because we want to get the about, the about of the about section of the person, which is in column A. And in this regex replace, you want to trim, clean, make sure you're selecting the LinkedIn URL that's on this particular sheet, which is in F2. So correct. And then in this array formula is to then do the same thing, but on the second sheet. So trim, clean, person's LinkedIn data. So the LinkedIn URL should be in column B of the second sheet, which is on the person's LinkedIn data. But take note, this was a template. So this should be financial, is that correct? Financial services LinkedIn data. And it should also be the same for this one right here. Right. So you can see this already popped up. This is the about section for this guy Sinclair Tofa. So if you press enter for that, we should get everything. And then we click autofill and we got it. So just to double check, we go over to LinkedIn's profile page, person's LinkedIn data. Yep. Right. We're missing one from Alexandra right here. We're missing one for Alexandra. Correct. So now we're going to do the same thing, but for the company description. Go over here, just copy the URL. Copy the formula, go inside the company description. But now it's going to be a little bit different because now this is financial services company LinkedIn data. This is also company LinkedIn data. And the regex and replace, trim, clean. So remember the key that exists on both sheets has to be the same. Right now, the key is not going to be the person's LinkedIn URL. It's going to be the company's LinkedIn URL, which is in J2. So in J2. But luckily, just now when we set it up, the company LinkedIn URL is also in column B of the financial services company LinkedIn data page. So that's why you can see it's already populating and it shows that we're pulling the right company description. So just press enter. So modern platform, right now we just sort it down just to double check. You can see a modern platform, simplified treasure, blah, blah, blah. And then we got this 3 dots for the last one. Let's go back here. Modern, blah, 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 simplified, S1, the modern, and then there's this 3 damn dots. Okay. So right now, pretty much we got everything we need. So we're only missing one. So we're technically not going to process that, but we'll see. And lastly, we want to have a personalization column. So this personalization column is of course to take all this information plus also later showing you how to use Perplexity to do additional research and get more information to craft this personalization. So you can use this for your cold email outreach. You can use this for what else? Your LinkedIn outreach or Instagram DMs, XDMs, whatever you want. But this is just this video is just to show you how to create a personalized icebreaker semi-automatically. All right. So once we got this sheet done, now we need to go over to make.com. So in make.com, just go create an account. You can create a free account for now, but eventually you're limited. I think that you only have about like 1,000 operations before. Yeah, 1,000 operations. That's not a lot at all. To do this, I think you do need the basic plan, the paid plan. I'll go and figure out what what plan do you need? Let me see. Make pricing plans. Right. So pay monthly 10,000. I think this one should be more than sufficient. So you just get the the $10.59 one. This should give you everything you need. You can't really do much on the free plan, but if you're just trying to experiment yourself, you can do this. But yeah, I would suggest try just paying a little bit and just get the $10 one. All right. So once you've done, once you've created an account, you go in. You should be in a dashboard. And then you want to head over to scenarios. And now we're going to create our first make scenario. So I already created something like this. So what we are going to be creating is actually two scenarios. So why are we creating two scenarios? So a scenario is just an execution, it's just a flow. Once it's completed, it's completed. So for instance, in this particular scenario, we're going to be searching in Google Sheets and we're going to be sending the data from Google Sheets to a webhook. So a webhook is, you can kind of think of it like a hook or a receiver from a different scenario right here, the second scenario. And it's going to send data from this scenario, the data from here, to the second data, and then for processing. So why we do this? This is a little bit hard to explain, but in essence, why we do this is because Make has a 40-minute limit for every scenario. So you can imagine that if you were processing maybe only 5 leads on this Google Sheet. So let's say if this Google Sheet, what we're doing now, we only have 5. It's no problem because it's only going to take a few seconds to do all of that. Assuming even if we have, just imagine these 3 modules here. Just imagine if we have it like over here. Okay, I'm just going to copy it to make it more visualizing. So imagine if we had this. All right. So imagine if we had this. If we just had 5 records and we want to search each row, so take a record from each row, send each record through Perplexity, do some research on Perplexity, take the research, send it over to Claude. This can be ChatGPT also as well, doesn't really matter. Then update the personalization column here, right here. This might take maybe at most 15 to 20 seconds for each record. So if you have 5, that's only about 100 minutes. Sorry, 100 seconds. That's less than a minute plus. Okay, that's fine. So you won't hit the 40-minute time limit. But imagine if you had 1,000. Now that's gonna hit the limit. So once you hit the limit, that's gonna cause a lot of issues. You gotta like restart the scenario, and because you're hitting rate limits and everything. So yeah, just best to avoid that. So let's just go back. This kind of changes. I'm gonna keep this simple as possible. So what I'm gonna do, for convenience sake, this is what we're gonna do first. Okay, we're gonna be searching the rows. So to create a module like that, you just find Google Sheets, you can right click, add module, like this. Okay, Google Sheets, and then you search for search rows. And then you connect automatically. You'll be just follow the on-screen automations, on-screen prompts. Make sure you're logged into your Google account, and you should get you should come out like this. So you can see I'm connected already like this, and this should be your email with the where the Google Sheet is located in. You select method, select from all, and then this spreadsheet ID. You want to go over back to your Google Sheet, go over here, select, go to the URL, select it, right here, select, and then paste it in. So this is the spreadsheet ID. So now we want to refer, and then the sheet name. So remember the sheet name, we want the financial services main list. Select this. Table contains headers, yes. Column range A to Z, yes. And then for filtering, we want to make sure that the personalization column does not exist, because why would we want to process if it's there, right? So obviously make sure it does not exist. And also, of course, that the email exists. So if the email does not exist, we are not going to bother personalizing. Okay? So once we have that set up, right now, before you do anything, make sure the limit is 1, click save, just right click and run this module only, just to test. So make sure we are actually getting data coming from Google Sheets. So you can see that we are getting Sinclair Tofa, and on our sheets, there is Sinclair Tofa. So it works. Next, I want you to create a webhook. I want you to create a HTTP request. So to do that, you need to send data anywhere. You need to do a HTTP request to send data. So you want to go add module, you click HTTP, and then you can click make a request. So this is what you're going to get. So under the so it's already here, but I'm just showing you how it look like. So under the make a request here, the URL, this URL, to find it, this is going to be the webhook URL. So where you're going to find it is you're going to go over to the second scenario. So now you can see in the second scenario, this webhook, you want to make sure you create a webhook, custom webhook. So over here, you can create a new hook. You click add, and then you can name your webhook whatever it is. You click save, and then you should be like me, be able to select that webhook, and then you click save again. And once that is done, it should become like this. You should get a webhook address. So this is the webhook address. Copy and paste. Go back to the first scenario. Click the HTTP request. Just paste in the URL. So yeah, in my case, I should also paste in the URL right here, which is right here. Okay. So once that is done, let's now continue it on this section. Just continue here. So once you have all of that, now we are going to be selecting which of these data that we want to send over. Right? So we want to send over, in my case, I want to send over the full name. So this is just, you want to head over to, first, once you enter the URL, make sure the method is get. You can leave headers blank. Under the query strings, you want to, this is where you select all the different columns that you want to send over. So for each column you want to send over, you got to give it a name. So I suggest just following whatever it is. So we want to send the full name, name this variable the full name, name the value, you're going to map the value. So in this case, like this, click inside, click the full name. Same thing for the first name, so name it first name. So imagine if this is empty, then you click the first name. Repeat this for all the different columns. So in my case, I want to send name. I want to send full name, first name, last name, email, person's country, person's LinkedIn URL. Oh, okay, this was from a previous example, so I want to make sure that it's correct. LinkedIn URL. LinkedIn URL is F. So next one, make sure it's the same. Country is the same, right? Yes. Title, make sure the title is the same. Yes. LinkedIn summary, company name, company country. Okay, we do not have company country. Yep. Okay, so forget about company country. Just delete this. Company LinkedIn URL, we have that. Company LinkedIn URL, company website URL, we have that too. All right. Company industry, we do not have for this particular sheet. Company description, we have. Company size, we do not. Okay. Now we also want to send over these three most important ones. The spreadsheet ID of this, because we're going to refer it to. We need this information to refer in the second scenario. So the spreadsheet ID should be up here. It's the same one. So just for illustration purposes, I'm going to select it. The sheet name would be this one. So you should select sheet. Row number, same. This one, just select row number. Right now, okay, everything's fine. Okay, now back to the second scenario. So delete this. Let's assume we do not have these three modules yet, okay? Because I haven't elaborated on this tree yet. Assume we do not have this yet. So you're only going to have this webhook. Before you do anything, I want you to do this thing called iterative testing, or whatever you want to call it. Just to make sure you test at every step. So you don't create the whole automation and then after that test it from start to finish. You still need to do that, but whenever you do something new, just test that step. So right now, when you created the webhook, I want you to first right click, just run this module only. So it's listening for data. So it's trying to wait for data to come into the webhook and then shoot it out. So we're going to test it now. So by right, if we just press run once, we should be able to get the data. We should be able to send all of this information from the Google Sheet to this webhook, and it will then receive it here. So let's go ahead and try. Pray it works. Okay, send. So you can see if it's green, and then you got this bubbles, means it's good. Go for the second scenario. Nice, we got it. We got all the information from the first sheet. So you can see all the information. Full name, first name, last name, all of this. Even everything. Great. So right now, we want to start building this second scenario is where we're going to be personalizing. This tree. So to set up Perplexity is pretty straightforward. You go over to the module, and then you click, you won't see this, you click add, and then you create a connection name. I usually like to put my email address, and then the year, the month, the day, and then the API key. To get the API key, you need to head over to Perplexity. Right here, go over to account. Once you created an account, you should be able to see this. Go over to my account. And then you need to follow the instructions on creating an API group. Once you have done that and followed all the on-screen prompts, then you go over to API billing, buy some credits, top up maybe $5 to $10, and then you'll be able to see your API keys. That's where you create the API key. And I'm not going to go in because Perplexity, I don't know why they reveal the API keys and I don't want to edit it out later. So either way, just go in. It's very simple. Just click the plus sign and get the API key. Once you get that, you go over to make, put the API key here, click save, and then you're good to go. Then you'll be able to select the model, and then over here, this is where you can create item 1. You create the system role, select system role, and then you give it a system prompt. So this is just a quick system prompt. You can go ahead and copy mine. I'll scroll down so you can take a screenshot and give it to ChatGPT to produce text for you. So you can see that all of that. And then item 2, role, you select user. So this is the user prompt. This is what we are going to be typing. This is essentially us, the users of this tool. And then you just feed it all the information from the webhook. So that's pretty much it. Once that is done, to test the module, you can do two methods. One, you can add a filter, set up a filter here. For the condition, just make sure the condition is something that is not true. So let's say A equals to B. In no universe, in no universe, A is equal to B. So in no situation, data will be able to flow through because the condition is not met. Or you can just right click and unlink. So just to test whether it works, can go over here. Let's remove all this first. Go over here. Yep. Just click run once. So this scenario is currently listening to any information from scenario 1. And then in Google Sheets, we can send limit 1. Right. Select save, and then we can run once. It's trying to send information. So it should be sending Sinclair Tofa over. Right, the webhook has been received, and then Perplexity has now given the output. So when you want to check certain information from each of these modules, that you can click this magnifying glass. You can see the inputs, you can see the outputs. So the message output from Perplexity should be under choices. It's +1, message, content, and then yep, we got everything. Now we want to send it over to Claude. So let's see, remove the filter. Should be done. I'm gonna go. So now to create Claude is literally the same thing as Perplexity. Just right click, or you can click this here, this add module here. It will be after Perplexity here. Click. You can find an entropic Claude and create a prompt, and then you'll be asked to then create a connection again. So click add, do the same thing, your email and the date and the API key. So I'm not going to show you again because you might be using ChatGPT or the OpenAI API for this. You just create an account on either Claude or the OpenAI, and then you do the same thing, top up credits, and then you'll be able to find the API key. Once you have that, get the API key and paste it inside here. All right. So once that's done, inside here, select the model, select the max tokens. So usually tokens are, you see, the maximum tokens to generate before stopping. So if you, it's gonna, if the, let's say this model, this prompt is gonna generate, this model is gonna generate 1,000 a blog article that's 1,000 text, and you put max tokens of 500, the output will only be 500. So there's something to take note. Same thing, there's gonna be roles. You want to select the system role, but for Claude, the system role is right at the bottom. So just give it a simple system prompt. You can use mine, copy screenshot, stick it to ChatGPT and get the text. And then you want to give a user prompt. So you select message 1, select user, select text, and then this is where you put your prompt. So you can copy this. Just gonna go down so you can see how it is. Just hear how I've written it. You should try to write your own, not to copy mine. All right, just give it some simple instructions. So the general structure of it would be to write a task write instructions in between XML tags. So XML tags are like this. Just whatever, name the section, the name of the section in between caret brackets. And then it, when you want to close the section off, is the same thing but just with a backslash. So I've got that. I got this task. I gave it some context. So the context would be all the information that we've gotten so far. The name, the person's country, LinkedIn summary, company description, the findings from Perplexity here. Everything will be under this context section, between context, XML tags. I give it some further instructions. Technically, should be rules. Yeah, you can name it like rules, but I'm not going to change it. And then give it examples, so it knows what, I'm guiding the model so that the output is a little bit more predictable and not hallucinating all over the place. And then under advanced, if you don't click advanced, there'll be nothing left. So if you click advanced, you should be able to adjust all this information. What you would usually want to adjust is just the temperature. So temperature, if it's higher, you give the model a little bit more flexibility to be creative. If it's lower, then you try to be a little bit more strict and deterministic with the output. So I like to go in between like 0.5 to 0.7. For in this case, let's go with 0.6. You don't need to touch top P, you don't need to touch top K. Just click save. And we are essentially done. Next one, we don't need to, I'm not going to test this because I'm just going to save some time because this video is already quite long. Finally, we just want to update the personalization column. So all you need to do is just add a update row module from Google Sheets, which is this one, and click in. As usual, create a connection. Make sure you are logged into the same Google account that sheet is in. Search method, select from all. Spreadsheet ID, remember the first scenario why we added the three information, the spreadsheet ID, the sheet name, and the row number, so that we can reference it here. So you don't have to always manually type it out all the way. Whatever sheet that you're processing in scenario 1 will be the same sheet processed in scenario 2. So once that is done, make sure to get the output into the personalization column. So the personalization column is in column M on our sheet. So that's why we mapped Claude's response to column M, save. And now just to make sure we are running this correctly, let's make sure the filters are not there. That's great. So we save this. So whenever you want to start to run a whole scenario from start to finish, you can click this. Make sure this run scenario is set to immediately because we want to receive information immediately from scenario 2. And then we don't need to click run once. We can just go out. So it's actually technically already running. The scenario is on right here. Make sure you select it to on. It's already listening. So now go over to the scenario 1. We want to process all the columns. So we have 5. Remember, we have 5 right here. So since we have 5, we don't need to risk processing records we don't want. We don't even need to put a limit because it's only going to process 5. But assuming you have like 1,000 over leads, At that stage, in a more advanced video, I'm going to be showing you how to actually why you should be processing it in batches because of like rate limits and stuff. But this is a very basic automation, so you won't be encountering it if the numbers are small. Okay, so yeah. So for limits, I set it to nothing. Save is only going to process 5. So this one you need to select on demand. Okay, run scenario. This should be on demand because you are instantiating it yourself. And then you click run once. So now it's going to be processing 5 records because all 5 personalization columns are empty. So you send 5. And now you can see over here, it's processing 5 at the same time. So you can imagine if you have like 1,000 leads from the first one, if you're processing 1,000 records at the same time, you're going to hit rate limits on all these modules. You're going to hit rate limits on Perplexity, on Claude. You're even going to hit a limit on the number of items you can send to the webhook queue in Make. So there are many things that you need to consider when you're trying to process in batches. So splitting up into 2 Make scenarios like what I have done is pretty much like the bare minimum when you want to do bulk processing, and that's what a lot of people don't really say. So, and that's why a lot of people get caught up with a bunch of Make errors and everything, which I will talk about in a different video. Okay, so anyway, this has now, all the 5 records have now been processed, so we can see success, green, 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 green. So we go back to our Google Sheets, you can see it's all done. Every single one has been processed. We have gotten personalized icebreakers using the information we got from all the individual leads and automated them with Ming, semi-automated them with Ming. All right, so in a nutshell, let me just go back. That's done. So right now, this kind of videos is more or less this is I think my second or third video back after not doing YouTube for over 3 to 4 years. So it's a little bit all over the place, but I'm starting to build up my personal brand now in the niche of like AI, automation, and digital leverage. I originally was doing like a bunch of photography and videography stuff, and now I'm just trying to do it more in this particular niche because I've started a AI agency business, a sales agency, automation business. So that's why I'm trying to create more videos to build my personal brand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And hopefully, be someone in the space in the future. And I hope this kind of video was useful, even though it was like kind of basic. Well, hopefully this was meant to help like other founders or people who really professionals in business in their own companies who want to like use it in their day-to-day workflow. And I hope I provided some value. I will try to create more videos in the future. And yeah, thank you for watching. I know it's a bit long, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Wait, I realized, something? I realized I was looking at the wrong camera. So I was recording my phone, but I was technically looking there. When I changed scenes on OBS, it was actually here. So yeah, I must have looked pretty stupid. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.